Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 6. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys. So the show opened. You know how they show little clips of everybody doing whatever they're doing at their home. We see Candy with little baby Ace practicing his, what was the language that he was speaking in? Was it Japanese? I can't remember. We see Sonja with her little baby. Okay, him cutting up as usual. I love that little kid. And then we see Kenya. Kenya and Marlo are talking on the FaceTime, and Kenya's telling Marlo about what happened with Sheree. And Marlo is just floored by this information. I need Sheree to remember who the fuck she is. I'm gonna keep the old Marlo voice because I can't quite get this new one. So Marlo has decided that the best thing for Sheree right now is to have a girls' night, okay? It'll be Sheree, Kenya, and Marlo over to the house. I know I like drinks, fattening foods. A massage would be nice. And so she's gonna invite them over to her home. Speaking of Sheree, we see Sheree at home, okay, down in the dumps, making up her bed. No, not making up her bed, folding up laundry. Her daughter comes in and she's like, good thing you came in. I hate folding up laundry by myself, okay? So anyway, she's telling her daughter how she's just kind of blasé, you know, just bummed about what happened with Tyrone. Apparently Tyrone waited till the very next day to call. Didn't even call on that day, not even that evening, and then wasn't even like, baby, let me explain. As a matter of fact, Tyrone must have waited till she got her ass out of Philadelphia before he called her, just in case she might wanted to see him, I guess. And then when he called her, evidently he was just like, hey, what you doing? I was just like a nigga. You know, so she was just like, hey, let me call you back. And she tells her daughter that she never called him back. Okay. But she just been bummed about the whole thing, and she hasn't been out the house. And her daughter was just like, we gotta, you know, get you back out there in them ATL streets. And Sheree was like, I don't think I even want to get back out there right now. Okay. Sheree loves this man. Remember, she told us that this is her soulmate. You don't just fall out of love with somebody just again. Nobody said you had to fall out of love with him. Okay. But what Tyrone did was unacceptable. Okay, I'm gonna need the nigga to call somebody when you know that I'm out here, like she said, in a foreign city, even though, you know, I'm sure she's a big girl. She can figure her way around Philadelphia. Okay, she act like she was in a damn third world country or some shit. But anyway, she's not ready to move on from Tyrone. Okay, everybody has their time when they have had enough. So, I mean, I understand that. But her daughter was just like, well, if you're gonna keep on giving him chances, then he need to come correct. Now, jumping over to Kenya, we see Kenya going out to lunch with Drew. I still have to get used to seeing these two, you know, these two hanging out together, considering they just was at each other's neck the whole last season. And it's so funny because I get this feel that even throughout the show, I get the feeling that Kenya and Candy are kind of like the OG housewives that kind of everybody looks up to. Some lovingly and some enviously. We'll talk about that later. But just knowing that they the OGs, I feel like people really are starting to try to make sure that they're on their good sides. Anyway, Kenya's hoping that the friendship will flourish. You know, last year, like I said, they just couldn't get it together. But this year, they've found some things in common. Kenya, now that she's out of the forest, she realizes that Ralph and I guess Mark are very similar in their ways. So she was just like, you know, I hope I didn't just overstep when we were out, you know, out of town in New York. And Drew was like, you know, telling Kenya how she was very grateful that Kenya did actually speak up, because it didn't seem like Ralph was really hearing what she was saying. Ralph still ain't hearing what she's saying. So anyway, after we ordered the food, you know, you treating? Yeah, girl. You know, Kenya said splitting the bills is ghetto. Now, hey, you can have this bill if you want it. Kenya tells her how Brookie did spend the night over at Mark's house for the first time, and it went well, you know, and Kenya is still very determined to make sure that Brookie and Mark has a relationship. She was like, I'm a mother. I know how to be a mother to her. I don't want to try to replace being a father. I'm not a father. I can't be no father. She needs to have her father in her life. So I think it's commendable that Kenya definitely, you know, I think because of her background and what she's come from, she knows how important it is for a child to be loved by both parents. So, you know, that is a good redeeming quality of Kenya's, you know, that she's not trying to be that difficult with Mark when it comes to the baby. So they're talking, Kenya's talking about her aggravation about some parts of the trip, the fact that, you know, first of all, she didn't know that the men were coming. Nobody had said that. And then secondly, Kandi got these damn sex toys, and you know, the fact that the men were there too. And Kenya was like, I'm not wearing that for some man to be sitting up here vibrating me instead of, you know, whoever he was trying to do or might have been trying to do it. I'm like, no, like, absolutely not. I still think that Kandi doing that shit was kind of inappropriate. But, you know, I guess all in fun. Drew tells her how she felt kind of sideswiped by Sonja, because Sonja doesn't have no real issue with Drew. And I am going to agree with Drew. You know, the more and more that I see how Sonja's been moving, again, she is one of those ones that you can tell is pining to be like a bestie of Kenya and Kandi's. She kind of got in there, felt herself around, and realized that Drew was not the person to attach herself to. And so now she kind of she's choosing to fight with Drew, and there's really no fight there. Even if Drew gets on our nerves, I mean, we can see that clearly enough that Sonja is kind of tripping. So yeah, Drew is just like, you know, she just kind of moving fake, phony. I don't do fake and phony. Well, that's debatable, but we'll get to that another time. And Kenya was just like, well, yeah, you know, it was something. You know, she's going to this photo shoot with Mommy Nation that Sonja has invited her to. And Drew was like, oh, okay, you're going? And Kenya was like, yeah, you're going? She was like, yeah, well, she invited me, but then she uninvited me. She sent her a text message and was just like, in light of everything else that's been going on between the two of us, I don't think it's appropriate for you to come. I mean, at least she sent the damn text, but I was just like, well, damn. How you inviting this girl and then uninviting her? So then Kenya was just like, what? She uninvited you? Yes, honey, she don't want me to be there. Yeah, I don't know what Sonja's problem is, but I mean, I do know what Sonja's problem is, but anyway, moving on. I guess she feels like Drew was going to ruin the event. Drew was like, I was going to come. I was going to support. I wasn't going to be up there arguing with her about, I mean, you don't never know how these things happen when you guys get into a group. But, you know, so yeah, she's not coming. But enough about that. Can you unblock me from Instagram? Okay. Well, now that they officially following each other on Instagram, I mean, wow. The friendship is official. Now, let's talk about this Mommy Nation event that Sonja has invited Kenya and Kandi to. Okay. She said that it's a platform that's created to support Black moms in every way possible. She's had many bloggers that come on there and I guess write articles. I haven't looked it up to see. But it's a support platform that she is very passionate about. They're doing their fall collection. They sell hoodies. They sell merchandise. Okay. So she's asked Kandi and Kenya to come and join the photo shoot. I guess she wasn't really clear on what was happening. Okay. Now Kandi gets there first. And when she tells her that originally it was going to be Kandi and Drew, but that she replaced her, Kandi was just like, you uninvited her? Yes, girl. She uninvited her because she just didn't think that it would be a good idea. So instead, Kenya's coming. Okay. So Kenya comes in and she's all dazzled up and everything, you know, got on a dress. She looks very good. Everybody looks spectacular this season. I mean, nobody has had an off. Even Drew hasn't been that bad. I mean, she's had a couple of moments, but everybody has stepped up their game exponentially. Okay. So I am very proud to look at these Black women on this show. Even if they acting a fool, they look good doing it. Anyway, so she has them there. It's not hard to see that these two, like I said, are the most popular housewives, the OG housewives. They have the most followers, you know. And Sonja is up here slick, getting free publicity from these two women instead of, I mean, so she was just like, okay, you know, we're going to have a photo shoot. You know, it's going to be the Black Friday sale. And Kandi was just like, this bitch didn't put me on a Black Friday sale. I mean, what do I look like? You look like free press, like I just said. Kenya was like, you did not tell me that I was going to be in a photo shoot. I guess Sonja thought that the fact that she said y'all come to the photo shoot, that meant that they was working. No, girl, this is a business here. You ask people, can they be a part of the shoot? You make that shit clear. Kenya was like, I'm gonna need a receipt because you never said. I know she didn't say it. She automatically assumed. And the fact that that happened, I was just like, That was Sonja being slick. I didn't like that. I don't like being used. Kandi was just like, well, Kenya don't really do nothing for a chick. Because Kenya was just like, oh, you didn't speak to my agent. Like, now this is official here. Like, we really doing business? Anyway, they gonna be good sports. because it's for Mommy Nation, even though this ain't really no foundation or nothing like that. But still, you know, they're going to be good sports, change their clothes, put their tennis shoes and hoodies on and take the pictures. And so now, like I said, Sonja has two of the most popular housewives doing pictures for her. Mommy Nation wearing these sweatshirts and ain't offered nothing back in return. I mean, I guess. Okay. Afterwards, you know, Kandi was just like, well, let me ask you, what made you choose us? Oh, you guys are the ones that I was the most connected to on the trip. I'm telling you, Sonja ain't giving me pick me, choose me vibes. It's just something to see. It's really amazing. I don't think anybody has quite been this overtly obvious when trying to align and angle themselves, you know, on this show. But anyway, she said that Drew may feel a little some kind of way about this. So she's decided that she's going to have an event, you know, and have all the women there. Okay, and you know, her mom is gonna come and cook, and Kandi was just like, oh, your mom gonna be there, can I bring my mama too? You sure can. We haven't seen Mama Joyce in quite some time. Okay, Kandi said she just want to come and be nosy and see her house. Oh, girl, well, girl, you won't be at the house because the event's not gonna be there. But yeah, you know, Sonja's telling them how she lives with her family, lives with her, and Kenya was like, oh yeah, you know, Sheree's family lives with her too. And oh my God, speaking of Sheree, did I tell y'all what happened? No, girl, what happened? Oh, so she tells her, you know, how Sheree was in Philadelphia, you know, she went to go see Tyrone, he stood her up, never came, you know, and she had pictures on the blogs of her sitting at a table by herself crying, and Kandi and Sonja was just like, what? No! She was crying. Yeah, she was crying. Can you believe it? Old still face Sheree. Okay? So, you know, they feeling bad. Kandi kept on saying that she felt like old boy ain't came because he lived with another woman. He was gonna have to explain to his other woman why he was leaving. Why y'all automatically think the man got somebody? I mean, maybe he does. I mean, everybody keeps on saying it, so I mean, maybe. But anyways, Kenya tells them that the ladies, the single ladies, that would be her and Marlo, they're gonna take Sheree out and have a good time or do something special for her, she said, and so they can have a nice time. It won't be the married ladies, you know, they Drew, Kandi, and Sonja won't be involved. You know, Kandi was just like, I have more fun with the single ladies, you know. Not Marlo. I know you ain't meant that, but and probably not Sheree these days either. But anyway, we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, they have that planned. All right, you guys, next we see Marlo. She is getting ready for the night that she has planned for Sheree. You know, this is to Operation Make Sheree Feel Wanted. Apparently, Marlo has the Fendi sales rep on speed dial. So much so that he can gather up a bunch of you know, items from the store and bring it to Marlo's house personally and have like a private shopping moment. You know, I'm thinking to myself, like, Marlo, this feels a little bit shady. Like, who invites somebody over to their house to make them feel good, and then you kind of putting them on the spot to buy some shit that's expensive on top of that? I mean, Fendi ain't like, you know, motherfucker just went to the Gap or something. So, like, I wasn't prepared to be doing all of this. And now you got this Fendi man, you know. Marlo's whole thing is, I got all the comfort food to make Sheree feel better. And Kenya's bringing the desserts. Speaking of Kenya, where the hell is she? Well, we get Kenya on the FaceTime, and Kenya was just like, listen, I don't feel good. I'm not coming. Marlo was just like, I hope that Kenya feels as good as she looks because her face is beat to the gods. Well, I was looking like, well, maybe it's the end of the day. Kenya might have been feeling better earlier, you know, and she had her makeup on or whatever. But, you know, Marlo was just like, what the fuck kind of sickness you got? But Kenya was just like, don't worry. Drew is going to come over with the stuff. Remember, Kenya's responsible for the desserts. And she'll bring everything over, you know. So Marlo was just like, okay. I'm thinking, like, why Drew? We got Drew as the runner now. Like I said, between Drew and Sonja, both of them with these pick-me vibes. So now Drew is running errands for Kenya. Anyway. So dropping with Drew comes to Marlo's house, and she has a cake, and she has ingredients to make. Bitch, ingredients? What? Kenya, how you sending somebody over here that still got to cook? You think you was gonna come over here and cook? No, that needed to be prepared. But I mean, I guess this was supposed to be a time so that Marlo and Drew could sit and talk. I don't know how Drew sits and talks to Marlo. Marlo been shady to her at best the whole time that she's known her. But I guess Drew is trying to make her the best effort she can. So they sit down and they talking, and well, they got something in common. Both of them wasn't invited to Sonja'S Mommy Nation event. Okay? And Marlo was just like, well, why weren't we invited? Well, Drew was invited. She just was uninvited. Marlo was just like, I don't understand why we didn't get the invite. Is it because we aren't as, have as many followers or something? I think some of that does have, is coming into play here. But I also don't think that Sonja was trying to be mean, not inviting Marlo. I think she just really wanted her and Kenya and Candy to be like best good girlfriends, But, you can't do these things to Marlo, who is extra sensitive. Let her tell it. That bitch just want a reason to go off on somebody. Anyway, now that Sonja'S having this other thing where she's invited all the girls, she invited Drew, and Drew turned her down because Drew was just like, how are you one day inviting me to something and then uninviting me, and then the next day you come back and invite me to something else? Like, no. And if I was Drew, I probably would have turned it down too. Like, bitch, you ain't fixing to play with my damn feelings all this time now. Either you're gonna be my friend or not. I'm not coming to something just for you to sit up there and tell me you don't like the way that I am and all the bitch, quit inviting me then. And Marlo was just like, well, you know what I would do? I would go and be on my best behavior. Okay, don't give them nothing to talk about. It's hard to be on your best behavior around this particular group of women. But anyway, while they doing all of this, the cupcakes come out nice, and Drew has bonded with Marlo, if you can call bonding with Marlo even possible. Child, that Marlo is not human. She is woo-wee. Well, anyway, so Sheree, the woman of the hour, where is she? Sheree is still at home. She's still got on her lounge clothes, she's eating salt and vinegar chips. Girl, they got a whole feast ready for you over at Marlo's house, but she just can't seem to get herself in gear. And she's still trying to process everything. So Marlo calls her and was just like, girl, where you at? And she was just like, girl, I'm still in my pajamas. She was like, girl, that's an outfit. Put on some heels and put on your Chanel bag and come on. Okay, she done sent the car service for it. So go get it in gear, get dressed, and come on. So Sheree goes and gets dressed. Sheree's hair is beautiful this season. I was like, girl, I don't know what that hair is that you got in your head, but ooh, them curls be so luscious, and every girl I'm telling you, them girls be on. They be on. Anyway, she gets in the car. The man tells her that she got to blindfold herself. She's like, it's gonna mess up my hair. He's like, well, Marlo said, what Marlo says goes. So she puts the blindfold on, and we continue on to Marlo's. When she gets there, Drew is still there, and she was like, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. This is just for the single women. Okay, so Drew's hurrying up, getting her stuff together, taking a plate, of course, and getting the hell on. So then, right in time, she goes out the back. I still don't know why Sheree couldn't know that she was there, but she goes out the back. Marlo goes and lets Sheree in the front. Hey, bitch, we got to do like what we did before. You know how they was doing. Anyway, but now we good girlfriends, you guys. So we gonna sit down and have a good night. And again, Sheree, I got this man from Fendi with all this stuff. I'm thinking to myself, like, are you going to buy the stuff for her? Or now she got to come to this party. She already depressed. And then she got to drop $11,000. So I'd have been like, I'm not buying nothing. But Sheree was going to be under the pressure to buy something because, first of all, people was always talking about Sheree's money to begin with. Now she got to prove that she goes there and that she's not going to not buy anything. Of course, Marlo is pumping her up by taking pictures like, yes, bitch, yes, pose. I just was like, Marlo, this is so wrong. But anyway, Sheree buys the stuff and whatever. So they sit down and they eat, and Marlo's telling her how how Kenya was supposed to come, with a face full of makeup. She was sick, though. Marlo was just like, ain't nothing wrong with that damn bitch. But Drew came along and brought the stuff, for you so that we can have, this cake and all of that. What the cake say and all this. I guess this is all to make Sheree feel better. But Marlo tries to have a touch and talk with Sheree, okay? And Marlo was just like, Sheree, I've been knowing you a long time, and I know you say that, you want to be with Tyrone and that you love him so much, but I know he hurt you, And Sheree was like, he did. It broke my heart to see you sitting up there like a Barbie doll, waiting and crying at the table. And Sheree was like, I'm a hopeless romantic, and I just really want things to work, and I know that he loves me. And Marlo was just like, oh, so you know that he loves you. Okay, now how would you feel if your daughter came and told you that some man was treating her this exact same way? Sheree was like, okay, now you're trying to make me look crazy and feel crazy. She says, you know what, if I really thought about it, they probably are surprised that their mom is even going through this. Okay? I kind of had the feeling that Sheree was stronger than, that she wouldn't. You've gotten to this point in your life to still be dating somebody that's putting you through this kind of thing. I'm not saying that because he was in jail, he not worthy of being dated. But what I'm saying is, if a nigga is gonna be treating you this kind of way, I mean, you might as well, like, why are you accepting this kind of stuff? You are Sheree Whitfield, okay? You should be able to pull something a little bit more respectful and, than this. I mean, but I understand, nigga, you love who you love, your heart loves who your heart loves and all of that, but still, I wouldn't have thought that Sheree would put herself through this, okay? This is humiliating on the show, but I guess Sheree was like, bitch, I got to get to this bag. So, Marlo was just like, you can Google the picture on the internet. You can see you sitting at the table crying, so then Sheree starts crying there again, and she was like, I'm not trying to make you cry. I just, you need to block his number, okay? You need to drop him, period. Damn. I don't think I would ever tell anybody that they need to leave somebody. I just would try to present all the reasons why they should and then say, it's up to you. But I'm telling you, this is what we see from the outside. Maybe you need a little help with perspective. But she was just like, block that nigga pronto. And then Marlo was just like, this is the last time I'm talking to you about this. Okay, I guess Marlo has spoken. And then lastly, you guys, let's jump over to Sonja'S event. So, she's going to have it at some place, and it is decorated nicely. They have flowers, birds of paradise, which always reminds me of home. My parents had a big birds of paradise plant right in front of the house. Anyway, she has a steel drum player there. She wants everybody to feel like they in Jamaica. Her mom is there. You guys remember, her and her mom went shopping for spices, and before all this happened, she told her mom that she invited all the girls. She wasn't really sure about Drew's energy, how Drew sent her a text message saying that she was declining to come because of what has happened. And I don't know, when I was listening to that conversation between Sonja and her mom, it was like Sonja was trying to pump herself up to be like rah rah, if they want the real Sonja, Sonja, then I'll give them the Sonja. Come on. Drew ain't done nothing for you to have all of this vitriol for her. Okay? Drew has done nothing to Sonja. You can not like the way that Drew is, but you just doing a bit much. Okay? And the mom was just like, well, they don't want to see that Sonja. Well, let's see that Sonja. Let's see. I just want to see what Sonja's gonna do. But yeah, that conversation, it was clear that she was trying to make something out of nothing. Girl, what is your issue with Drew? Okay, yeah, so that's what was going on there. Anyway, the girls start getting there. Sheree gets there first, okay? And then Kenya comes. And then Sheree kind of looks at her kind of funny. And I was just like, well, no, what was that look about, Sheree? They all meet the beautiful mother. Sonja's mother is beautiful. Child, I mean, I remember I told you guys at the beginning that I thought all of them were very good looking. Sonja, her sister, and her mother. But her mother, once she got cleaned up, because I didn't even realize that was the mama. She didn't look nothing like she been looking the rest of this time. But honey, that mama is beautiful. I'm talking about she could be, it's so good to see black women represented this way. I mean, at least we gonna look good, like I said, even if we act a fool. Okay, everybody's getting there, Marlo, with the Jamaican accent, hey man, coming in. And Candy brings in the rear with Mama Joyce. Now, when they all get there, Sonja was like, you guys got to give me your best Jamaican wine, honey. That Marlo, I was like, I am impressed with Marlo's knees, child. That dancer she was doing, that up and down, honey. I could have done that, but trying to get back up would have been something. I'm fine while I'm down there, bitch. Don't ask me to get back up. Let me hold on to something. Kenya was like, where's Drew? Is Drew coming? And Sonja was like, well, I invited her, but she told me that she wasn't coming, and I'm not going to beg her to come. Sonja looked like she was happy that Drew wasn't there. Kenya looked a little perturbed about it. So anyway, the night is Sonja's gonna have them cook. I was like, Sonja, you don't know how these women work. Like, we come to the event, you have everything ready, and then we eat it. Like, we got to be taking pictures, we got to be doing making food, but I guess she was trying to make everybody feel included. That poor mama had to sit there and listen to Marlo's fresh mouth talking about the plantain and how it's not hard and soft and all. That mama was looking like, I said, girl, now you better get ready for this group. And Kenya's coughing. And Marlo was just like, girl, you all right? You sure you should have came? I mean, she didn't come yesterday, so I didn't think that she'd come today. Okay. Marlo's still feeling some kind of way about the fact that Kenya didn't come to Sheree's little feel-good party. I honestly want somebody to explain to me why exactly does Sheree and Marlo, why do they have an attitude with Kenya? I mean, Marlo might have a problem with the fact, might have just been like, girl, what nothing wrong with you and everything. But Marlo and Sheree was really mad. Now, first of all, Sheree, you mad that I didn't come to something to support you, but I talked to you on the phone. You mad that I had a face full of makeup. You didn't even talk to me, so you only know that because Marlo told you that. But, she was just like, you couldn't come, to the party with a face full of makeup. You were sick. Kenya was looking at like, what? She was like, first the fuck all, I told you, Marlo, if you would have listened, you would understand that I was getting ready to come and I just didn't feel well. Okay? But I'm just sitting there looking like, what's Sheree mad about? Because you didn't even want to go originally. Now you mad. I said, girl, you letting Marlo put this battery in your back and you is going to be just as wrong as Marlo. And then Kenya had told Candy what happened, with Tyrone, and now Sheree mad at Candy because Candy didn't call her to see how she was doing. It's just like, Candy was just like, well, because I was trying to wait to see if you was going to say something. Candy, you're wrong, Sheree thinks. You should have called her when you found out immediately. I mean, it would have been fine either way. Listen, when she told her that, Candy said, I know you don't cry, and when I saw you crying in the picture, I was just sort of like, oh, she felt bad, and Sheree was like, that's exactly why you should have called. It's just like, you are tripping, Sheree. So they was going back and forth. They was arguing and all of that. And Mama Joyce was like, hey, y'all don't need to be arguing over something like this. Calm the fuck down. Okay, so everybody's trying to tell Sheree that she needs to block Tyrone. That was the bottom line. Sheree said that it did mean a lot to her that Drew came, even though Kenya didn't come. Drew came and got stuff prepared. She's not even really friends with Drew like that. So that meant something. And Marlo says, I told Drew to come anyway. Hopefully that she will come tonight, just because, her and Sonya got this thing, she needed to come. So she told her to come. We're going to see if she shows up. Then they talk about the photo shoot and the fact that only Kenya and Candy was invited. Marlo was just like, first of all, how you invite Candy? Candy is not this person that you think that, oh, she's so friendly. I mean, I've been knowing Candy for years and we just now getting close. First of all, you're not close with Candy. Secondly, why are you mad at Sonya because she's wanting to be friends with Candy as well? Are you upset that she want to be friends with Candy? Or are you upset that she not your friend? Like, what is going on? Are you envious of Candy? Oh my God, that Marlo, when she was saying that, Candy was just standing there just sort of like, what? Okay. And Sheree right there in cahoots with her. Candy was just like, I feel like Marlo is trying to get Sheree on her side. Her side of bullshit. Okay, and Sheree was stupid enough to be following behind Marlo with that mess. Marlo was just like, anyway, bye, bitch, to Sonya because she didn't invite her. And, Sonya was like, oh my God, like, I really want to be the popular girl. I mean, I'm making people upset, So then Marlo was just like, Sheree, can I talk to you outside for a second? So Sheree goes outside with her. And Marlo got out there and said some of the most horrible things. I was just like, really, Marlo? And it just showed that, first of all, I really still think that Marlo just says things just to give good TV, but she's so gutter with it. It is hard for me to really just continue to just be Team Marlo. If you're going to be this way, how the fuck can you say you mad at Sonya, but now everything is about Candy? You mad at Sonya, but you going off on Candy. She got a whole team at the house and a daddy daycare. Candy is for self. Sheree said that Candy was for self. Marlo agreed. It doesn't even make sense, the things that they're saying. Then Marlo flat out calls her a hoe. Said that she was a hoe all around Atlanta and said that she, fucked everybody. Her pussy wasn't good no more. I was just like, wow, Marlo. So below the belt. So unnecessary. I mean, she was saying these things anyway. I think Marlo really loves the shock factor. She is definitely one of those people that think that good press, bad press, it don't matter as long as it's press. But I was just like, you were sitting there talking about Candy, and Candy is not even what happened. You should be upset with Sonya, and you really shouldn't even be upset with Sonya. But if you was going to be upset with anybody, it would have been Sonya. Candy not responsible for who was invited to Sonya's event, and you just really want to go off on Candy. And it was such a nasty, and so now we know that that's why Marlo went on Carlos King's podcast, and doubled down on the whole thing. Okay, she's doing her job. She's twisting the knife. She's trying to make everybody more upset and all of that, you know, because everybody is going to watch. We need some beef. You know, we all can't just be happy and having fun on these shows. Like, Marlo is from the old generation that it needs to be some shit going down before we can, you know, before we can have like a really good show. So I really know Marlo's MO. I understand it, but it ain't right. It's not good. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, you know, Marlo gonna have to be on the love from a distance list, because this is not, and it's not good. And Sheree sitting right there with her doing it, not a good look. Anyways, you guys, let me get off of here. I got a nail appointment. I'm gonna be late too. So y'all make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. Also, Blue is just, he's doing okay, you guys. He's just gonna be my fur baby that is going to always be high maintenance, and there's always going to be things that I need to make out, check up for and look out for as far as his health is concerned. So we're going to have a conversation about it. I'm still going to do that story time. I haven't forgotten, you guys, but I just need to make sure I have the time. But anyway, let me get to my appointment. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.